While soon Buena Vista Street will be reopening for more shopping and dining, it seems like any hope of Disneyland reopening in 2020 is quickly slipping away, as Governor Gavin Newsom is standing firm, even with mounting pressure from mayors throughout California and a new legal loss in court. And we're going to talk about all of that in today's video. Hey there, my name's Eric D, and on this channel my hope is always to make your next Disney adventure a little bit more magical with tips and tricks, food reviews, and news. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. But for the past week or two, I haven't given a Disneyland update because I felt like there was nothing earth-shattering or really huge about Disneyland news. But what has been trickling in over the past little bit seems to be making it pretty clear that Disneyland won't be reopening in 2020 or for the holiday season, which is making me kind of sad. But what is helping to seal that fate is the COVID numbers continuing to rise throughout California after the state had been going downward or remaining steady. We are currently about a week after Halloween, and the numbers seem to be going in the wrong direction. Following the California Attraction and Park Association press conference we discussed last time, which had presidents of several of California's major theme parks, the question many of us were asking was how the governor would respond. Well, during the press conference on October 27th, he was asked about how people were responding to the theme park guidelines and the concerns from both parks, workers, and local businesses. And he went to great lengths to never use the words Disney or Disneyland in his response.
You bring up one theme park. California has dozens and dozens of theme parks. You bring up one particular operator of a theme park that does things very, very differently than other operators of other theme parks. You have theme parks that are large, theme parks that are smaller. You have theme parks that are really cities that operate convention facilities and hotels and restaurants and organize not just around carousels and other amenities. You see others that are out on beaches and boardwalks that are very, very different. And so you have to design and you have to distinguish and you have to organize not only your response but your guidelines in a way that addresses those unique dynamics, unique background rates, county by county, all experiencing different background rates as it relates to the spread of this virus. But all of that with our eyes wide open on where we are as it relates to this pandemic.
So that first part of his response there is echoing what he has said multiple times, that theme parks are so much more complex, and even though we already have these rules for restaurants and we already have rules for hotels, somehow when we have them associated with a theme park, it completely changes everything, and we have to look at this with a totally new lens. And I think that is one of the things that the theme parks, as we saw with the presidents in the previous press conference, their concern was, why are we being treated so differently than these other industries? Even though there's already existing rules, why do the rules change when it's applied to us? And once again, he kind of just echoed his continued feeling on, oh, it's more complex when theme parks are involved. They're all so different and we have to treat them very differently. So he echoed that again. He then went on to say in the press conference, when you see the weather begin to turn and more people coming back inside and mixing, self-evidently, we should be concerned about opening up a large theme park, where by definition people mix from every conceivable walk of life and put themselves and others at increased risk of seeing transmission rates rise related to COVID-19. He finished his remarks on this by saying,
and the holidays in front of us and the concerns that have been expressed by experts worldwide, not just experts nationwide, around their concerns for a second or a third wave, to me semantics, as it relates to what we have in store for us over the next 6 to 12 weeks. And so respectfully, deep respect, because I understand, again, as someone with 4 young kids, the reverential identity they have with one particular brand that you are identifying, and their desire to be entertained, and their desire of those that rightfully want to get their jobs back and to get back to some sense of normalcy. Forgive me, but we as a state are going to be driven by data and science, and we're going to be driven by public health first.
So it is clear he is not backing down on this, and if you are of the opinion that theme parks should remain closed, you are likely cheering him on this. As far as the theme parks are concerned, as I mentioned before, their question continues to be, why are we so different from other industries that are very similar to us? Why are we being treated different? And they also are wondering, you keep on bringing up this health first and this data. What's the difference here? What are we not seeing that you are seeing? And in fact, the California Attractions and Park Association executive director released a statement that said, "We continue to ask the administration to share any data or science related to theme parks that they are using to inform their decision to keep the major theme parks closed indefinitely while allowing similar venues to reopen. Parks have been open throughout the country and world for months, and we have seen no data indicating that COVID outbreaks are being traced back to theme parks. If they can reopen safely in other states and countries, then why not in California?" And adding more pressure, 8 California mayors all signed a letter to the governor saying, "The guidelines put forth by your administration were released with the framework of prioritizing public health and safety for guests and employees. This is the right focus. However, economic and public health are not mutually exclusive goals. We are concerned that the state's guidelines would push reopening of large theme parks up to a year out, which would have significant negative impacts on hundreds of thousands of jobs, thousands of small businesses, and billions in operating revenue for our cities." What is interesting about that letter is these mayors all come from very different political points of view, including the Los Angeles mayor, Eric Garcetti, who has himself been pretty strict on the lockdown. But even he is saying this is a little much. As we've talked about before, the Orange County health experts are saying best case scenario, they're thinking summer 2021 is when they'll be able to reach the yellow tier. And of course, Orange County is doing better than Los Angeles County, so it seems very reasonable that it could be more than a year until they're able to reopen in Los Angeles County if these rules are to remain in place that long. My hope is with the vaccine, things turn around and it doesn't remain like that, but clearly the mayors are trying to say, Governor, this situation is not going to work long term for us. What can we do to improve this? So it was impressive that those 8 mayors came together from all different points of view, reaching out to the governor like that. While most of this news has been looking pretty negative for the parks, one glimmer of hope is the governor recently lost a legal case in court related to his actions with the election. The judge's ruling said, "The court finds good cause to issue a permanent injunction as follows. Gavin Newsom, in his official capacity as governor of the state of California, is enjoined and prohibited from exercising any power under the California Emergency Services Act, which amends, alters, or changes existing statutory law or makes new statutory law or legislative policy." One of the assemblymen who brought the lawsuit forward said, "The ruling is tentative, meaning Newsom has a few days to try to persuade the judge to change her mind, but it is rare for a tentative ruling to change. While Newsom can appeal, we are confident that the decision is on solid legal ground and will stand." And just to clarify, Senator Melissa Melendez tweeted, "To clarify any confusion, the ruling in the case against Newsom does not end the lockdown. It means he cannot amend, alter, or change existing statutory law or make new statutory law or legislative policy." This shows that Disney and the other parks would likely have a very good legal case if they brought it forward, but at the same time, for optics, I don't think Disney or the other parks want to bring a case forward while the case numbers of COVID are rising and it's not going the greatest in California on that. I think if the numbers were stable or if they were going down, I think that would be the time that the parks would want to bring a case forward and say, hey, we're doing everything we can. The state's in a good condition right now. Why can we not open? But if cases are currently going up and other countries and states around the country are seeing an increase, that might, from a PR point of view, not the best time to bring a case forward. So we'll have to see what happens there. Lastly, Disney has canceled hotel reservations through November 21st, but they did announce and update the website to show that November 19th will be the official opening of when downtown Disney will expand into Buena Vista Street. And it outlines all the shops and restaurants that will be open. One thing I did find interesting is that they're going to expand and include award winners as a restaurant option there. So my hope is that if the parks continue to remain shut down, maybe they'll be able to continue to expand deeper into the park and bring in more and more restaurants and shops over time, bringing back more and more cast members to work. So once again, nothing earth-shattering, kind of the sad news that it's not looking too good for 2020 or for the Christmas season, but still some glimmers of hope. I would love to know in the comments below what you think the next steps are for Disney and when you think your best guess is for when the parks will actually reopen. Now I'm starting to worry it might be not until February or March, best case if there is a legal case, but we'll have to see. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.